there, folks. Welcome to a very sunny Sweden today. Nice spring winter weather. I have been doing a whole lot of showing of my collections of different kind of genres, and I'm going to continue to do that. This time I'm going to show my collection of 70s rock pop on vinyl. Not 70s soul though, because I'm going to do a separate video where I'm showing my soul collection from both 70s and 80s, maybe a little 60s if I have that much 60s soul, but I'm going to save soul for a video of its own. So this is mostly singer-songwriters, but also some natural radio pop and so on, maybe some AOR or Jack Rock, stuff like that, that I hope is interesting for some of you vinyl community members out there. So hold on to your seats, let's go to the records. Okay, let's start with some compilations. Not many of those. This is Grand Prix. These are Eurovision Song Contest songs through the years. In original version, actually. This is this is interesting. This is 16 songs to Melodifestivalen, the finals to the Eurovision, the Swedish finals to the Eurovision Song Contest from 1977 that didn't make it to the finals. The producer Bert Karlsson, who owned this record, Marianne Records, wasn't that happy about the choice in 1977 Melodifestival, that he actually released an album of its own with alternative songs that should have been to the Melodifestivalen, according to him. Of course, mostly are his own productions and songs and so on. Tycoon, a very much forgotten rock band today. No, this is not Freddie Mercury, even though it might look like it. And actually, really good. This is Japanese electronic musician Tomita, and a really great album, Cosmos and Firebird, which is the electronic version of Igor Tchaikovsky's ballet. 10cc sheet music, 10cc the original soundtrack, 10cc their debut. This gotta be one of the most horrendous cover sleeves ever. We have Bloody Tourists. Despite I'm sick and tired of Dreadlock Holiday, this is my favorite 10cc album. Deceptive Bells, another classic. The greatest hits of 10cc, which more or less was released by 10cc to get that, because they had one album left on the contract in their record label with the UK Records, so they made this totally unnecessary greatest hits in order to get out of it. 10cc, How Dare You? Strix Q, Swedish rock group, and says it contains a huge huge poster in color, which wasn't there, and I feel like I couldn't care less either. It's culling time. Let's see if this Capital City album, Capital City, will make it the culling. Steely Dan, Countdown to Ecstasy, and we have Rod Stewart. Put it right so. Sing it again, Rod. Real great. Al Stewart, Year of the Cat, speaking real great. Candy Staton, Young Hearts Run Free. French group Space and Magic Fly, real great electronic music. Simon and Garfunkel's classic greatest hits album. Sniffing the Tears, Tickle Heart. More Sniffing the Tears I have in the 80s section, or should I say most of my Sniffing the Tears collection are in the 80s section. Paul Simon. Paul Simon's still crazy after all these years. Carly Simon, No Secrets, bought in Stockholm. Secret Service, Oh Susie, one of the albums that is still with me from the 90s when I put them down in the cellar, and was actually in great condition when I pick it up again. Neil Sedaka, Stepping Out. Neil Sedaka, who I still claim was a whole lot better in the 70s. At least the arrangement was better. Seals and Croft, Unborn Child. And Seals and Croft, Get Closer. Swedish singer Roger Rönning with the album Rötter. Actually a real great Swedish singer-songwriter style. Kenny Rogers, Love or Something Like It. Chris Rea, Deltics, which is released on blue vinyl. City to City, Garefty. Player, Danger Zone, great one. Player with self-titled. And Pilot, Two's a Crowd. Got real cheap, that one. Gilbert O'Sullivan, A Stranger in My Own Backyard. Gilbert O'Sullivan himself. This is not the release that is very ordinary in Swedish thrift stores, which is pretty fun to have something a little bit different. Back to Front, Gilbert O'Sullivan. Orleans, Let There Be Music. Alan O'Day, Sadly Forgotten, Oh Johnny. This, without a proper sleeve, is an Alan O'Day appetizer that I got for free by a friend that didn't have the proper sleeve, but the record itself was in playable condition, so I kept it because it was really good. Anne Murray, Danny's Song, Anne Murray Together, Anne Murray, New Kind of Feeling, The Motors, Approved by the Motors, Giorgio Moroder, From Here to Eternity, maybe one of the best Giorgio Moroder albums, or Giorgio Moroder produced albums. John Miles, Stranger in the City. And John Miles with Rebel, real good, produced by Alan Parsons. Miko, Encounters of Every Kind. And we have naturally the Miko Star Wars and Other Galactic Funk. Childhood record, childhood I listened to a lot as a child. The Wizard of Oz, Miko. This is Don McLean, Homeless Brother. Mind slip. Loggins and Messina, Full Sail. Robert Lamb, Skinny Boy. Robert Lamb of Chicago fame, bought in Uppsala. Kraftwerk, Exceller, a compilation of their absolute earliest hits. Even there are songs here from the time when they were only Ralph and Florian. Kraftwerk, Man Machine. Kraftwerk, Trans-Europe Express. Coming to the large stack of Carole King. Through Bread, bought at Vinylstallet here in Sundsvall. Carole King, Her Greatest Hits, the album that more or less led me into Carole King, realized that how great she really was. Fantasia, a Spanish release. Really Rosie, also bought at Vinylstallet. Welcome Home, Carole King. And, of course, the classic Tapestry. VCLT from Baraka P. Dub. We have Wrap Around Joy. We have music. As you can see, when it comes to 70s, I'm soon complete with Carole King. Rhymes and Reasons. And we have Simple Things. Elton John coming too. 17-11-70, which is a live album. A really great live album, maybe one of the best Elton John's albums I've heard. I was surprised of how great this actually was. Blue Moves, Single Man. Coming to Jean-Michel Jarre, Equinox. And in my little box of my absolute favorite albums ever, I also have Oxygen, which also is a 70s album. Ian Matthews, If You Saw Through My Eyes. Hudson, an album that I also got more or less for free, but it's pretty good. 70s. Swedish Bo Hansson with an electronic classic, El Ahraira. It is music based on the movie Watership Down, which in Sweden is called Den långa flykten. Daryl Hall and John Oates, Ecstatic, and Hall & Oates, Bigger Than Both of Us. Andrew Gold, bought in Uppsala, and All This and Heaven Too. This contains Never Let Us Slip Away, of course, one of my favorite Andrew Gold songs, and also Thank You for Being a Friend, the Golden Girls theme. Andy Gibb, Shadow Dancing, a proof that a very cheap record in dollar bins can actually be good, because this is one of the most ordinary albums in dollar bins here in Sweden, but it's actually real good. Produced by Bee Gees, of course. And Flowing Rivers, also a great one. Gargoni, Martin and Taylor, an album that I got for free actually, and it's also real great. Art Garfunkel, Breakaway. Dan Fogelberg, Home Free. Dan Fogelberg and Tim Weisberg, twin sons of different mothers. This one is also highly recommended, as is this Netherlands Dan Fogelberg, also real great singer-songwriter style. Also great one, Captured Angel, bought in Stockholm. Mystery to Me, Fleetwood Mac. Sadly forgotten Fleetwood Mac album. I think this one is real good, even though it has one of the most bizarre cover sleeves that I've seen. Tusk. And also, of course, in my box of favorite albums of all time, I have Rumors. Brian Ferry, Bride Striped Bear. England Dan and John Ford Cooley, highly, sadly forgotten, highly recommended singer-songwriters, AOR. Some Things Don't Come Easy, and England Dan and John Ford Cooley, Nights Are Forever. And we have Eldkvarn, Swedish group, and Pojkar. Eagles and their pretty ordinary, their greatest hits. Of course, Hotel California and Eagles The Long Run. And we're coming to Dr. Hook a little bit more. Also an album that have been surviving actually from the days when I had the records down in the cellar in the 90s. Pleasure and Pain. Make Love and Music. The Doobie Brothers, One Step Closer. Dire Straits, Communic. And Neil Diamond's soundtrack of Jonathan Livingston Seagull. One, I think this one should be in the soundtrack genre. Two, I'm not sure that I'm going to keep this one now when it is culling time, because it was a little so-so. It was great, amazing arranged, but I'm not sure that it will be enough for me to keep it actually, because his own singing songs wasn't all that interesting actually. Deep Purple coming to now, and this is made in Japan. A fantastic live album, I must admit that. A really great live album. Deep Purple Machine Head, In the Rock, the issue from 2016. Powerhouse, the best of Deep Purple, coming to Chicago, and this is Chicago 13, Hot Streets. I'm never learning this. Chicago 10, Chicago 11, I think this is 8, no 7, and I think this is 9, the greatest hits. This is Chicago 8. This is Chicago 6. 5. This is a live album that I found, Chicago at Concert Hall. I don't know if this can be shown here. Chicago at Kagan Hall, that I found at Sundsvall's Game and Record Fair. Chicago 3, Chicago 2, leaving Chicago, coming to a pretty large stack of Carpenters. Horizon, we have Passage, Now and Then, and the obvious, it's the singles. Captain and Tennille, Make Your Move. Captain and Tennille, Greatest Hits. Coming to Jackson Browne, Running on Empty. We have some Bread, Lost Without Your Love. Now, David Bowie. Ziggy Stardust, Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. My favorite David Bowie album, absolutely. Space Oddity, also a classic. Hunky Dory, also a fantastic one. Young Americans, Diamond Dogs, Postcard, Low, Heroes, the classic up on classics, Station to Station. Now we're leaving David Bowie. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Stranger in Town. This is really great one. This one contains the famous Final Scene, a classic that I've heard since teenage years, and it's a fantastic mood in this song. Blood, Sweat and Tears we're coming to now, More Than Ever, with one of the maybe most boring album covers ever. Mirror Image. Some said when I bought this that this was pretty strange, that maybe it wasn't my cup of tea, but I think this one is really good actually. Really, really good. New City. No Sweat. We have BST4. BSNT4. This one I bought at Solna Record Fair. Self-titled. Now coming to Blondie, Parallel Lines. Eat to the Beat. Bellamy Brothers, Let Your Love Flow. Two and Only. The Two and Only. I normally don't I have normally no interest for country music, but I think Bellamy Brothers is one exception because they have a way to mix yacht rock, AOR, and country in a very great way. Plain and Fancy. This and Let Your Love Flow are albums that have been with me since the 90s actually. One of few that are left from when I put the 70's down the cellar actually. And that was in great shape when I took it up again. This is Staying Alive, motion picture soundtrack. Should be in soundtrack part actually. So I think I will move to there. We have a Saturday Night Fever here also. So I think I'm moving this to soundtracks. A little wrong place, but it happens. Spirit Having Flown, the Bee Gees. Baccarat with a compilation. I actually like Yes Sir I Can Boogie. I think that have a certain mood. The English and the lyrics are pretty crappy, but I like the production. The Best of John Baez, and these are only 70s songs by John Baez. Atlanta Rhythm Section, Champagne Jam. Angelo, and those who haven't seen the video where I purchased it might wonder, who is Angelo? Well, Angelo was a pretty much forgotten artist that worked a whole lot with Chicago, and they actually repaid by many of the Chicago members being a part of this album. And you see I have a lot of great names here also. But this sounds a whole lot of Chicago style in it, and it's actually really good. America, coming to, and self-titled. We have Heart. We have a live album that I bought in Gothenburg. We have Hideaway, which actually is my favorite America album. I don't know how many of that will agree, but I really like this, and George Martin's production. Harbor, Holiday, Leaving America, Herb Alpert Rice. I haven't made up my mind whether I will keep this or not, because it wasn't that interesting, but I will see what happens now when it's culling time. Alan Parsons' project, The Turn of a Friendly Car, is a little bit doubtful whether that will be in the 80s or 70s. I put it in 70s for the moment, but a lot of the singles came out in 1980, but I think it is in the 70s, but it is a little crisscross between 79 and 80. Tales of Mystery and Imagination, Edgar Allan Poe, Alan Parsons. And we have Eve, Alan Parsons. We have Pyramid, Alan Parsons. Another one that has survived the cellar and have been with me since the 90s. Swedish group Adolfsson och Falk, a band that is mostly connected with the 80s, but they made an album in the 70s also. Swedish synth pop band, but this is not synth pop, this is regular Swedish pop, not Expressen, the Night Express. But it's still their music that is really good. And ABBA, the album, and ABBA, self-titled. Also that have been with me since the 90s. Morris Albert, After We've Left Each Other. You know, feelings. We have America, Silent Letter. Bee Gees, a live album, Here at Last, Bee Gees Live. Bellamy Brothers, Beautiful Friends. Blondie, Plastic Letters. Blondie debut. Blood, Sweat and Tears, Brand New Day. And more Blood, Sweat and Tears, New Blood. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Against the Wind. Boomtown Rats, A Tonic for the Troops. David Bowie, Stages. Some of you might remember how happy I was when I found this in Umeå at the record fair there a couple of years ago. Captain and Tennille, Keeping Our Love Warm. More Captain and Tennille, Dream. We have the Carpenters, A Song for You. Carpenters, A Kind of Hush. Carpenters, Made in America. Leaving Carpenters now. CCS, self-titled album. Jim Croce, Life and Times. Dollar Shooting Star. Dr. Hook. This is the medicine show, Dr. Hook, self-titled. Bankrupt, Dr. Hook. Sloppy Seconds, a lot of Dr. Hook here. The best or the rest of Dr. Hook. Some kind of odd compilation. Here we have Belly Up. Brian Ferry, In Your Mind. Brian Ferry, Let's Stick Together. Flash and the Pan. I think it is their debut from 1979. Dan Fogelberg, Souvenirs, and Dan Fogelberg, Greatest Hits. Cat Stevens, Foreigner. Andrew Gold, Whirlwind. Gargoni, Martin and Taylor, Gotta Get Back to Cisco. Sadly forgotten band today. Art Garfunkel, Angel Clare. We have Dan Hill, Longer Fuse. Janice Ian with a compilation called My Favorites. Coming to some Billy Joel, Billy Joel, Piano Man, and Billy Joel the Stranger. This is the one that contains Just the Way You Are. Now coming to with Elton John, Rock of the Westies, Goodbye Jello Brick Road, Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player, and from my songbook, a compilation that I found that was pretty cheap, and I guess why, because of the writings on the sleeve, but I needed to have it. It is pretty early Elton John recordings. Caribou. And we're coming to Swedish landslaget. Tänk om jag vore en flyttfågel. Here we have Loggins and Mazina, Motherlode. John Miles, Aragon, Mixed Emotions, Exile. And we have Gary Moore, Back on the Streets, in a, as you can see, reissue. The Motors 1, the Motors Greatest Hits, and the Motors Tenement Steps. Anne Murray, Talking It Over in the Morning. This is a great one, actually. Sadly forgotten yacht rock band Orleans. And Orleans again with Forever. The other was self-titled. Gilbert O'Sullivan, Southpaw. Also a very good record. Gilbert O'Sullivan, Off Center. Lee Ritenour, Feel the Night. Lee Ritenour. Seals and Croft, Diamond Girls. Simon and Garfunkel, Live Ryman. Simon Garfunkel. Paul Simon. Paul Simon in concert, Live Ryman. Paul Simon, There Goes Ryman Simon. Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. We have Squeeze debut. I think this might be one Squeeze, the only one that I actually need. Sorry, all Squeeze fan, but I have a hard time getting into Squeeze. But this album contains some songs that I think is good. This is Swedish singer Ted Ström, För evigt ung, Forever Young. 10cc in concert, low budget release that I couldn't resist. Ultravox, Ha Ha Ha. Ultravox before Vienna, which means that they are more of a rock band. And Steve Winwood, self-titled. Well, that was my 70s collection. A pretty good stack, I guess, for someone who has collected 70s only since 2014. Nice build-up through the years. And since the 70s is the genre that is the newest in my record collection, this is still in a little bit of a learning process when it comes to some names and classic records to check up on and so on. There have of course been a little bit of blind buys here and there, like Angelo and Orleans, that I had no idea who they were. Turned out that they weren't all that big, but still really great ones. There is a whole lot still to learn, and it's really great to be able to get information and influences from everywhere. in a genre that is still a little bit of new to me. So there will be more 70s, of course, as the years go by, as the genre isn't all that hard to find and not all that expensive. So there will be more of these videos where I go through a certain genre, and I will do a video where I show my jazz EP singles are a pretty great deal also with those. So until next time, I hope that every one of you have a real nice time and a nice weekend, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. Take care and